Thank you all for coming. Appreciate you taking the time out. I know it's kind of difficult in the evening because everybody's got such a busy schedule, but I really appreciate you taking time out. And this is just part of what we believe in across the board of all of our companies, which started out with Studio Fit and just helping people, and then has progressed into the Palmer Group and just being able to help people make changes in their lifestyle that are positive. And as somebody told me yesterday, one of my customers said something to me interesting yesterday. He said, Mark, keep that stuff coming because we all need to build each other up. What we've all been through over the last year has been difficult on everybody, and we all need to build each other up. So that's a very true statement. So I'm hoping you can take some of this stuff, take some pieces of it out, and use it in your day-to-day life, and it has a great effect on you moving forward. So I'm going to share my screen. We do have a PowerPoint presentation. If y'all could mute your microphones, if you could, that'd be great. You can also, we'll pull up the chat section here. And if you want to ask a question during the presentation, you're welcome to just put it in the chat. If Amanda can answer that, she can answer it right then. If not, she can kind of tag me and we'll either wait till the end. We do have a little question answer at the end, or if it's something we need to hit right away, she'll kind of tag me and we'll take care of it right away for you. Okay. So let me share my screen and we will get going here. Make sure I do the right one. Bingo. Okay. So as you know, Win Your Morning, Win Your Day, title of the seminar. And I'll give you a short history of where this came from. But first, I want to kind of go into what this will help you do. Okay, so what are you going to glean from this? But a great morning routine will help you keep on track with your goals. I'm a very goal-oriented person, and I think it's super important that everybody has a set of goals. Somebody told me a long time ago, if you don't have a target, no way you could possibly hit that target, and that's a really important piece. So having a morning routine will help you stay on track with your goals. It's going to create a calmness. I know that's one of the things I was looking for when I was looking for a routine that would help me every morning. It'll gear your focus on gratitude. It'll help you celebrate the wins, something that any driven person knows that they might not do. I have a personal coach and she tells me a lot. She says, you got to take your time and celebrate the wins. And that's a game changer in my life because we have a way of just kind of blasting through things and not stopping to smell the roses a little bit. So that's an important piece. Incorporating exercise in your routine is a very, very important part. As many of you here are either members of Studio Fit or you're in one of our programs now, you can see how exercise can be a game changer. And we believe that exercise kind of leads to a lot of different things. And we'll talk about that. And continue your education through reading, which is a very, very important piece of the morning routine and a very, very important piece in life. We know that most people that are successful in all forms of life spend a lot of time reading and following the guides that people can leave through the written page. So it's great stuff. So the things that we're going to talk about a time management tool. This isn't just the morning. We're going to talk about some of these tools you can use kind of throughout your day, but we incorporate them in the morning routine that I do and what I found successful using visualization. Try to say that 3 times. The Pyramid of Mastery, which is an important piece, and you should have a copy of that Pyramid of Mastery in your email box. And we're going to kind of go over that, setting goals and closing the gap from where you're at now to where you want to be. The morning routine that will work for you, reading and personal growth, and then that gratitude game changer, which can be such an important part of all of our lives, especially for what we have gone through over the last years, looking at the positive instead of all the negative that seems to be around us with the media and so forth. So just a little saying here, sitting still never works. Creating a strategy is awesome, but execution is outstanding. So strategies are great, but if we can't execute them, strategy is nothing but kind of a plan, okay? So executing that strategy is absolutely outstanding. I love that word outstanding. You know, there's kind of good, better, best, great. And then when you get to outstanding, you really know that you're on top of the stack here. And that's what I was looking for about 5 or 6 years ago. I felt I was stuck in a little bit of a rut professionally. Things were going decent with my health. We had bought the gym right about that time. And one of the reasons I bought it because we were kind of wanting to continue on a healthy streak. And and Julie and I were rolling along well, and it just professionally, I felt like I was in a little bit of a rut. So I was looking for something that would kind of get me up and get me going in the morning and keep me on track. And at that point in our life, Julie was getting up at about 5 o'clock in the morning and going to work. She was working medical, and I was on a very flexible schedule. So she would get up and I would sleep in 7 o'clock or some crazy number. And I really needed something to get me up and get me going. And I found the Morning Miracle, which we will discuss. And it really made an outstanding change in my life. It really became a morning thing that I looked forward to getting up and doing every morning. And it became an important piece in my life. Okay. And we're going to go into how that happened and how it can affect your life the same way. And that's what we're after, is kind of passing this knowledge on. Okay. Many of you all already know the Palmer Group Holdings has multiple companies, Studio Fit being one of them. We have kitchen cabinet companies, but creating a legacy of consistent positive action is kind of our mission statement. So through these kind of seminars, through Studio Fit, through the different things that we do to help some business people grow their businesses, we believe we're creating positive action, and we really like to do that right here in our own neighborhood. We really like our Richmond Hill to be our center point of helping people, and really want to make a dent in helping people improve in our local area. So, as we said, we've got Studio Fit, as many of you are members. Kitchen Design Solutions, if some of you don't know, we're in the retail kitchen cabinet business. Also, Marsh Direct Sales is kind of our wholesale end, and then the Palmer Group does some consulting stuff and this kind of stuff, this mission to help people move forward positively. Okay, so the question is, moving forward, is how do you wake up in the morning? Are you on Groundhog Day every day? Okay, as many people are. It's kind of interesting. Some of the worst, or some of the one thing people hate the most in the morning is waking up in the morning. Yet they seem to be on that Groundhog Day. They do the same thing over and over and over, meaning they hit the snooze button, and then they try and get 6 more minutes of sleep, and then they get woke up again, and they got to go through it again, and they hit the snooze button again, and then they get trying to six more minutes of sleep, and it's just kind of a bad cycle. Okay, it doesn't create a very exciting morning. So what we find is having a morning routine gets you in a different mindset first thing in the morning, and mindset's a really, really important piece of the puzzle. You want to wake up refreshed and ready for the day and looking forward to the day, instead of the dregs of what I have in front of me. Okay, and that's what a morning routine will do for you, is keep you on set for your goals, keep you moving forward. And so the morning time becomes a much easier thing. And that use of that morning time, that little bit of extra time that you can squeeze into your day, waking up a little bit earlier. And a lot of people say, God, how could you possibly wake up a little bit earlier? But I can tell you that just like working out, just like starting to work out, you start out slowly, just adding 15 minutes more in the morning, and then adding 30 minutes more in the morning, and 45 minutes, you will start enjoying that morning time. It'll be one of the best parts of your day, and you'll get up feeling refreshed and looking forward to that morning in the day. I want to talk about RPM. And this is something that not only goes along with our morning time, but also is something you can use every day. And this is a really important piece of something we do corporate wise with all of our folks, something Julie and I do consistently. And it's something that I've learned to do over the years on a consistent basis with almost everything I do. So when I look at something I want to do, like instill a morning routine in my life, I look at, I call it what we call RPM. So it's a result planning method. And basically the first thing I want to look at when I'm planning anything is I want to look at what result I'm looking for. So if I said to myself, okay, mornings are tough on me, I don't really like mornings. I really, I'm kind of dragging myself out of bed in the morning and not looking forward to the day. If I change that, the result I'm looking for is to be more positive in the morning, set myself up for the day for success. I'm looking for, tracking my day. I'm looking for staying on my goals. I'm looking for learning. I'm looking to do all these things in the morning. So that's the result I'm looking for. The purpose, or the P part, is basically how committed I am to doing that. So if I'm standing with my team and I say, okay, we've got this project, okay, and the result we're looking for is we want a more organized warehouse, let's say. Okay, that's the result we're looking for. So we look at the result first. Okay, then our purpose is our commitment level. So if I say to my team, how committed are we to doing this? We got all this other stuff going on. What's our commitment level right now? and I'm looking at my commitment on a scale of 0 to 10. And if my commitment is 4, 5, 6, or 7, that's not something I'm very interested in doing, so I'm not going to do it. Okay, I mean, it's just not going to happen. But if my commitment level is a 9 or a 10, I know that I need to move forward with that action. Okay. So with looking at a morning routine, if you're committed to doing this, if you say to yourself, yes, this is something after the seminar, this is something I want to put together, my commitment level is 9 or 10, you're going to make it happen. If it's a 3, 4, 5, it's probably not going to happen right now. Okay. Now we use this kind of across the board through our corporate stuff and even with our personal stuff. And then if our purpose or our commitment level is high, we create a massive action plan. And that's basically the to-do list. That's the objective list moving forward. Okay, and we're going to go over kind of what your objectives are in building a morning routine as we move through this. Okay, but we added a couple of things to this as we moved forward. We added TA on the end of it because what gets tracked gets improved. So if I'm going to make a morning routine, I want to track how many days that I do it. Okay, we're going to talk about journaling later. One of the things I do in my journal is I track my progress on a lot of the different things that I'm trying to improve in my life. So if I track my progress and I see where I'm at and I'm honest about it, then I know where I can make improvements. And then the last A, or the last piece of that, is adjust as necessary. So if I'm tracking my progress and I see that I've stumbled, just like let's use fitness as an example, because we've got a lot of people here in the middle of their fitness journey. If I track my food and then I fall off the wagon for a couple of days, I know I need to make an adjustment. Where people tend to fail in this is they fall off the wagon for a couple of days, and instead of making an adjustment, they just give it up. Okay, and then 3 months down the road, you're like, what happened? So you want to make as many adjustments as necessary, even if you're failing in your track or you're falling backwards, you make as many adjustments as necessary to reach your goal. Okay, so it's find out what result I'm looking for, what's my commitment level, make a massive action plan, okay, track my progress along the way, and adjust as necessary. Okay, and that whole plan can be used for pretty much anything that you want to do. I'm going to let somebody else in here. Kim Mary just popped in. So that RPMTA can be used pretty much for anything that you're up against or any priority that you want to put in your life. And if you start using that, it really kind of wakens you up as to how committed you are to doing something. Okay. Oops, I gotta click over here. There we go. Okay. Pyramid of Mastery. This is interesting. This is from Tony Robbins. And Tony, as you probably know, is a kind of a motivational speaker, but kind of a life coach, and he's done everything. He's a pretty amazing guy. But I thought this was interesting. We went through one of his seminars, and this kind of gave me a guideline as to where I'm at in different aspects of my life. Okay. And I thought it was really important because it gives you something to shoot for. Basically, we've got a target now. So we've got an organizational target here that says these are the 7 different areas of my life that I want to work on. And you guys have a copy of this in your information. And if you'll notice, physical body is the foundation for all the other things. Okay. So number 1, physical body. And if you've heard any of my seminars before, you know that we preach, per se, that you got to take care of yourself, because if you can't take care of yourself, where are you going to be? You can't take care of everybody else. You're not going to be here for everybody else, and everybody else will have to take care of you, which is something you may not want. So you got to take care of your physical body, and that's why we have Studio Fit, to help people do that. And that is kind of the launching point. We believe that fitness is an important launching point into the other things in your life, and makes everything that much easier. So many things you learn while being physically fit or going in that track. Okay. So if you take a look at the different things on that pyramid of mastery, it gives you an ability to sit and look at, okay, where am I in any of these things? And then what do I want to do to improve them? Okay. So if time management is one of your issues, this allows you to kind of take one of those snippets out, one of those areas and work on it over a time. And the morning routine that we're going to talk about here allows you to track where you are in that and move forward in any of those areas. Now, pretty much anything we do in life can fit in one of these 7 areas in this pyramid. Okay, so it's a great overall view of where you are and where you can get to. And my suggestion is, if you were to take that pyramid and like the piece that we sent to you, if you put a score down as to where you sit in each of these areas, and then take 3 of those areas and decide to work on those 3 areas over time. Okay, so if time management is one of the 3 areas you want to work on, you would take your morning routine and you would take the time that you read during your morning routine and you would work on time management. That's one of the things you want to work on. Okay, if your relationship is one of the things you want to work on, then you would take things that would work on your relationship, or remind yourself on a daily basis that you want to work on your relationship, or read books, or find information out, or study about your relationship. But taking 2 or 3 of those items at a time over a time period, you'll be able to focus on those things and slowly march toward your goals using that RPM method. Okay, tracking your results and making adjustments along the way. You'll see progress over time. And using the morning routine, we'll talk about journaling. Journaling especially gives me a time and a place and a way so that I can track those things. And I do it on a personal level. I do it over a 13-week period. So I basically cut the year into 4 quarters. And over a 13-week period, I will work on, I take up to 3 items on that pyramid and I work on those items, okay? And I kind of give myself a score, and then as I progress, I make adjustments as I go. And then at the end of the 13 weeks, I just sit and analyze where I sit in those areas. And I may continue to work on that, one of those 3 areas. I may say, okay, I'm good here. I was a 6 when I started, now I'm an 8. I'm good with that now because my finances were back here at a 6 or a 4, and that's something I want to work on. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so I'll work on those 3 items and then flip over into something else. But this gives you a bucket that all of you, pretty much everything that's happening in your life can fit into one of those areas, and gives you a way that you can move forward and work on it. Okay, so like I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you in each of these, and where would you want to be? So set yourself a goal. This is all about goal setting in this part. See where you're at today, and then move forward and fill that gap, working on 3 areas at a time. So where you can move from what we call great to outstanding. And there's sometimes that you are, we do this in our companies. We'll look at a certain piece, and it at one time it was always my thought process to take the weakest things. What are the things that are the weakest on my scale, and then work on those. So I'm going to work on the 3 weakest. But there are times that if your finances is an 8, if you believe you're an 8, but if you moved it to a 9, it would make the biggest impact on you, your family, and moving forward. So sometimes you take something you're strong at. Okay, maybe you're really strong at time management, but if you just tweaked it 2 or 3%, it would make the biggest impact on what you're trying to do. And you take something you're strong at and just move the bar forward just 2 or 3%. Okay, and then work on a couple of things you're weak at and pull those forward too. Plus, it gives you a little success. If you're really good at something, you make it that much better. That success builds a little momentum, keeps you moving forward. So don't always just work on what you're weak at. Take something you're strong at and just make that 2% tweak, which can be really, really important. Okay. So how do we close the gap? A great morning routine can help you do that and more. I have found that when I use my morning routine on a consistent basis, and I do a morning routine probably 5 to 6 times a week. Okay, there usually is a day I'll let things slide a little bit. I may get up a little later or whatever it is, but on a very consistent basis, I do some resemblance of my morning routine, and mine has changed over the about 6 years I've been doing this. Mine has changed. I've taken kind of pieces out of it, but we're going to give you kind of a roadmap so you can start one, and then as you progress, you can take the pieces out of it that fit you and help you move forward. Okay. So as I said before, about 6 years ago, I read this book. The Morning Miracle by Hal Elrod. And I really found it interesting. I can't even remember where I found it. One of the seminars I went to, or somebody mentioned it on somebody I follow. And I've been a personal development guy for 25 years. I've followed different personal development people, Tony Robbins being one of them. Zig Ziglar was the first one. You know, I followed a lot of those folks over the years, and found that what Hal found, the same thing, excuse me, that success leaves clues. Okay. Hal's story is very interesting. As I read in the book, he was in a car accident when he was 19, and he died 2 or 3 or 4 times. They brought him back 2 or 3 or 4 times. They told him he'd never walk again. The man did ultra marathons. Okay. He just never gave up. And then he went through the financial crash of 2007, 2008 and lost everything. So he had that challenge. And during that time, he decided that he went through a depression and decided he was going to pull himself up by his bootstraps, and went out and started exercising, using exercise as the base. And he said, you know what? I don't have to reinvent the wheel here. There's people that are successful and I can follow their lead. So he started studying successful people. And what's cool about today is we can find information out on pretty much anything by opening up YouTube. I mean, YouTube has, you know, I could find out how to do anything on YouTube. I could build an airplane on YouTube. The cool thing is now I don't have to go necessarily find successful people and find out what they did, which is great, but I can find somebody like Hal who has studied hundreds of successful people and find out what they did. So it narrows the focus directly down, and I can follow Hal and see what he found out. And what he found out was successful people leave clues, and successful people have a morning routine. And when we say success, we're talking about the people that on that pyramid that we talked about earlier are successful across the board. This is not just monetary success. This is not just emotional success. This is not just a relationship success. These are people that are successful across the board, people that work on themselves consistently in those 7 areas of life and have made strides towards being outstanding. So Hal found that every one of the successful people that he studied had some form of a morning routine. One guy meditated, one guy read, one guy did affirmations, one guy did visualizations. Okay. And he said, you know what? If I took all those things and put them together in one powerful morning routine, I bet I could make a substantial difference. And that's exactly what he did. Okay. And Hal's got a really interesting story. And the book is a great read and tells his story. And as a matter of fact, the third challenge of Hal's life is recently went through a very, very rare form of cancer, and spent about 1.5 years at MD Anderson and survived that also. So the man has no quit in him. And he's been in front of some very severe challenges in his life, but there's no stop, and come through it. And using that morning routine, he says, has helped him propel through those challenges that he's had. So his system, he calls it Savers, is built on silence or meditation, affirmations, using encouraging words, visualization, imagine yourself doing something, exercise, which we all is very, very important, reading, so using positive thoughts through reading or learning, and then scribing, which is basically journaling. Okay. So he calls it the Savers. And in the book, he lays out doing those for about 10 minutes each, gives you about a 1 hour morning routine, and building on each of those. And this is how I started my morning routine. Like I said, about 6 years ago, picked up the book and was very impressed with what I read, and thought, you know, this is exactly what I was looking for. And over time, learned these different aspects, and then have kind of tweaked mine and changed mine according to what my needs are over time. But this gives you an excellent starting point to start a morning routine that'll make sense to you. You're learning some great things like meditation. Affirmations are very strong. Visualization I use almost every day. Exercise is part of my morning routine on a consistent basis. Reading is so powerful, and a lot of people are not probably reading enough. And many of the things I've learned over time have come straight out of books from successful people. And then journaling has become a very, very, very important part of my morning, because journaling really keeps the whole program together, and it keeps you on track, and it gives you an opportunity to look at where you're at and make the adjustments necessary so you can continue to move forward. And it's very interesting. I've got 3 or 4 years of journals. It's very interesting to go back every once in a while and just flip through some pages and kind of see where you're at, where your head was, and how things have changed over time. It leaves kind of some interesting breadcrumbs for you to look back on and see your progress, which is exciting because progress leads to kind of a snowball effect and moves you forward. So there's some things I'm going to suggest to you as you look at building your own morning routine. Number one is pick up the book. I've read 3 or 4 or 5 other books about developing morning routines. I can say that The Miracle Morning is probably the simplest read and the most straightforward about how to start this thing and get you moving forward. So my suggestion is do on Amazon. I think the book is $15 or less in paperback, and start there. Developing your morning routine. Okay. So next, meditation. I'd never meditated in my life before I started. In fact, I thought meditation was just some yoga dude sitting in some place on top of a mountain somewhere. Okay. I had no conception of what meditation was. I thought it was some kind of spooky science that I didn't know if I wanted to be part of that stuff. So I started doing some development in my head about what this actually was, and it wasn't that at all. Meditation gives you a space where you can calm yourself and keep your head moving in the right direction. Okay, it gives you some quiet time to calm down what's going on in all of our very, very busy heads. And that morning time, using that meditation in that morning time, is a huge piece of the puzzle for setting yourself up for a very calm day. Okay, I find myself much more relaxed all day when I consistently have a meditation. Julie thanks me when I consistently have a meditation practice. Okay, so my staff probably thanks me when I have a consistent meditation, because it just kind of eases me into a morning, no matter what's going on, no matter what stressors are happening. We have 5 kids and multiple businesses, and there's 20 team members, there's all this stuff going on. But no matter what happens, that morning time of just 10 minutes or 5 minutes of meditation really, really helps calm things down and give me a level playing field. And I found Headspace to be the absolute best learning tool for me to start my practice in meditation. So it's an app for your phone. It is a fantastic starting place. It's free for 30 days to teach you meditation. I'm not quite sure what the price is after the 30 days, but it's very economical, and it is jam-packed full of different meditations for different time frames in your life and also what you're going through. If you're trying to be more productive, they've got a 30-day meditation for that. If you're mourning a loss, they've got a 30-day meditation for that. If you're working on your relationship, they've got one for that. They've done a fantastic job, and the story behind it is really cool. So if you want to do a little backstory behind Headspace, it's a really cool bunch of guys that put this app together and have a real strong background in meditation. And one of them was actually a monk, and he's from Australia, and it's just a cool story. So anyway, Headspace would be the place I would start to learn meditation and learn that practice. And you can start with 3 minutes at a time. It takes a little while to calm your mind. It's still a challenge to this day every time I do it, but when I do it and do it right, it's definitely a game changer. So I would suggest starting right there. Okay. So positive affirmations. There's a bunch of different directions you can go here. The book talks about affirmations, the do's and don'ts. The one thing I liked about it was positive affirmations kind of got the the branding that you just stood there and told yourself you're something when you're really not that. Okay, so you just said over and over and over again, I'm skinny, I'm skinny, I'm skinny, I'm skinny, but you're not really skinny. I mean, that's not the way this works, you know. So what Hal goes into is saying, okay, we're going to use positive affirmations, we're going to use realistic affirmations, which I think is good. And they affirmations can be a real jump start to your morning routine. Okay, so my suggestion with you is to read that chapter once or twice and kind of go into the affirmation process, and it can be a very, very positive effect on your morning routine. And again, Hal in the book, you know, suggests 10 minutes for each of these sections, getting started, especially while you're learning, but you can narrow that focus down a little bit, get into a little 3 to 5 minute section for each of these once you kind of learn these skills, so you can kind of condense it. I love an hour morning. It is one of my favorite parts of the day, man. A cup of coffee, a bunch of water, and a headset, and I'm ready to rock, you know. And I love that hour in the morning, but I realize not everybody has an hour in the morning. So you can condense some of this stuff, and then you can use it, you know, you can broaden it on the weekend if you need to, you can condense it down to a 15-minute morning. You can do that, and as your time allows. But my suggestion also is, don't allow time to run you, you run your time. So you got to back up your alarm clock a little bit. And that's an important piece of this puzzle, is a little bit shorter wake up time, maybe get to bed just a little bit earlier, do it a little bit at a time, and you'll start building this morning routine. Visualization. I've got Tiger Woods on here because Tiger Woods, we all know, was one of the most spectacular golfers that ever lived. But one of the things Tiger did, and he brought to the game, was a mindset that the other golfers pulled from, and he really raised everybody else's game. And one of the things Tiger always did, he could visualize the shot at a very young age. His father taught him to, before you stand at the ball, before you address the ball, visualize exactly where you want that ball to go, not exactly where you want it to land, how far you want it to roll, where, you know, the whole 9 yards. So using visualization is an important piece of this puzzle. I use visualization on a regular basis. I'm going to teach you or show you a Tony Robbins routine that kind of incorporates a lot of these things that you can do in about 15 minutes in the morning. But visualization really allows you to basically set your mind to the goals you have in mind, and move those things forward. And it's a really, really important part of the mental game of this. And you combine that with the positive affirmation, and you combine that with the meditation, and it becomes a really, really powerful tool, those three in line in your morning routine. Okay. So the book also goes into some great input about visualization. There's some great stuff online on YouTube about visualization. So you just kind of have to test some things out and see what works best for you and what fits you. But it's an extremely powerful tool. Exercise, as we all know, exercise is an important part of our lives. It's the basis by which that pyramid is built. If we can't take care of ourselves, it would be very difficult to move forward. So, and not only that, and something Julie and I have talked about recently, and we just went through a personal development seminar, but they talked about your energy level. So Julie and I talk about that a lot, is what your energy level is like. And while you're burning energy working out or doing some exercise, it gives you more energy. And as you will find, those of you who have started in our programs recently, while you are working very, very hard right now and you may feel a little lack of energy, that will be added to you as you progress, and you will find you have more energy. Okay. The body kind of acclimates to that, and you start to be able to express more because you're getting stronger. I mean, basically, your body's moving forward, you're getting stronger, plus you're eating all the right things and doing the right stuff and drinking the water and all that kind of thing. And that certainly is helping. So incorporating a small workout program in your morning routine can be very, very positive. Plus, the plus side of that is what it does up here. It's a mindset change. So I know when I get up in the morning, and if I'm having a little bit of a difficult morning, I know one thing: my physiology needs to change. I need to move my body. Okay. Because if I move my body and my physiology changes, my mindset changes every time, bar none. Doesn't matter what's going on. My physiology changes, my mindset changes. It's right behind it. So we got a couple of pieces of exercise equipment here at the house, cardio equipment. You don't have to have those. There's a street out in front of your house. There's a sidewalk. Get out there and move. And doing that changes your physiology. And this might not be your main workout of the day, but if you get out and spend 10 minutes, if you stretch, if you got a bike, if you can get out and walk, if you can incorporate that in the morning routine, it certainly does change things a lot. And especially with your focus and your physiology. I can tell you that Amanda, my assistant, who's on with us now, probably gets too many texts at 5:30 in the morning because I'm on the bicycle and I thought of something while I was on the bike because my mind's working. Okay, my physiology's changed. My mind is clear and it starts working, and I can pop something off because I'm thinking straight. So exercise is an extremely important part of this morning routine. So the next thing is reading. Now I have two computers up here, which is probably strange, but I've got a story. If you could take, let's think of somebody here. If you could take Thomas Edison, okay, and I think we'll all agree that Thomas Edison is a very important inventor in our history and a very, very smart man. But if you could take all of his knowledge and his mindset and what he went through over his career, and you could take a cable and you could plug it into the back of your head, and then you could plug it into the back of his, and you could download all that information, that would be an important thing for you to do, don't you think? We could probably agree there. That would be great to have all that information in your head that Thomas Edison had in his, right? We can agree? You can all nod like this. Yes. Okay. So if you could do that, it would be an awesome thing. Well, you can do that. All you got to do is pick up a book about Thomas Edison because it's all there. It's all on the written page. Okay. So anybody that you believe is successful, anybody that you believe whole life successful, anybody that you admire, any of those people that you think are leading a great life and you would like to see how they got there, there's a biography been written about them or autobiography been written about them, all of them. If you want to read about how Standard Oil started with Titans, or you want to read about anybody, you want to read about Steve Jobs, you want to read about anybody who has been successful, you can plug into that just by opening a book. Okay. And it's something that it's interesting. I remember 20 plus years ago when the digital book started coming out, or whenever it was, the digital book started coming out. So the Kindle started coming out. And I remember walking into a Books A Million and they had digital readers for sale. And I remember thinking, gosh, the library is just going to go away. The bookstores are going to be gone. They're going to be dead. Okay. And remember, Amazon, the biggest business we have now, was built on selling books. Okay. That's how Amazon started. So the book business did not go away. In fact, it's gotten stronger. More and more and more people are writing books and reading books. And it's a really, really important piece. And I can tell you, I didn't go to college. I read books. My education came through reading books and relying on people who I admire, asking them questions, gleaning that information out of them. So it's a very important piece of your trek to learn different things. So if you were struggling on anything in that pyramid, my first advice to you would be to pick up a book about that subject. Okay. And then you can trek forward and follow somebody else's advice about that subject and move yourself forward to the goal that you've created. Okay. So if you spend 10 minutes a day, which is all we're asking you to do during a morning routine, if you spend 10 minutes a day reading, you're going to read 16 books over the course of a year. That's a lot of books. There's a lot of information that you can pull out of those 16 books. And it's a really, really important piece of your education process, moving yourself forward of those things that you want to work on. Okay. So my advice to you is to pick up the book of your choice and dig in, because there's a lot of information out there available to you. As I said earlier, Tony Robbins, I'm a believer in a lot of his stuff. He's been around a long time and has put together an amazing organization, and to this day does some amazing things for people, and in the personal development world and in other ways also. But Tony Robbins has a system he calls priming, and Tony uses this every morning And there's a reason for that, because it sets him up in the right mindset every morning. So basically, Tony has a morning routine he uses every day that includes gratitude, prayer, visualization, and sets his morning up properly each day. We put a link on your page that we sent you of Tony Robbins' priming video that teaches you how to use this. I use this usually when I'm short on time, and it gives me 3 or 4 of the different things I want to include in my morning routine. So it's a great plug and play. Learn how to do this and use it when you're short on time, and it gives you some of the major aspects of your morning routine. And it's very calming. It's got a great section about gratitude, which is very, very important. And it's a great routine to use moving forward. Okay. One of the most important parts of the routine is journaling. And I use a journal, like I said, pretty much every morning. I have it sitting here, as a matter of fact. And it's a great tool to keep yourself on track for all of these things that we're talking about. So I have found, I've used a bunch of them over the years. I have found that Best Self Journal absolutely creates the best. I've been using it for three years now, or somewhere around there. I buy them for all my kids. Christmas time, they put them on sale for like 25% off. So I buy a stack of them and give them to those people that I care about, and that are trying to make some progress. And I find it very, very useful because of the sections that it has. So it goes into gratefulness right off, gratitude right off the bat. So it gets me in a mindset of gratitude right off the bat. It goes into what my goals are for the day. So I take that section and I use it for the 3 big goals that I'm working on for that quarter. Okay. Allows me to create some targets. There's a scheduling part in there if you like to use a paper schedule. And then there's just a writing part where you can write out what your thoughts are. And it's a great tool to keep you on track and make those adjustments necessary so that you can move forward. So take a look at Best Self Journal, and I think it's a great tool to keep you moving forward, to track your goals, make a connection with your goals, and stay on task every day. And again, gratitude's a great part of that daily routine. It really changes your mindset. Just some feedback from people that have been on this program. It's always nice to see other people that have made some successes of what they've done, and using the Miracle Morning itself. People that started a few years ago, they're more energy, they're happier, they manage challenges better, and that's what it's all about. We're all up against a bunch of challenges, obviously, day to day in life in general, and this helps you manage those, which is a really, really important part of this. And moving forward will help you not only stay on track, but manage whatever comes up against you. And you'll find yourself, as you move through this, when the challenges come, you don't get upset. You stay much calmer. You make better decisions. The people around you tend to like you better because you don't get upset about things. It's a great piece to help you do all that. So here's your action plan. Moving forward, you want to look into the Miracle Morning book by Hal Elrod. There's also a movie that was just produced, and it is out on Amazon Prime, and it is available. I think it's like $3 to rent it. It's worth the watch. They've been working on this movie for a couple of years. I actually have a very, very small part in it. There's a group of people, and I'm way over in the corner. I think you see my right arm or something way over in the corner. But I was at one of the live events where they taped this, and it was really cool to see. So take a look at the movie, download the book. You can get the book on Audible also. If you don't like to read, you can do that on Audible. The Headspace app is a really, really important piece of learning how to meditate. And again, you can do it for free. I think the first 30 days are free. So you can fire that up at no charge at all. The Tony Robbins priming video is on YouTube, obviously free. And that'll teach you that segment, or how to do the priming, which is really cool. The Best Self Journal, I think they're $35, I believe, if I remember correctly, and definitely an important piece of the deal. And you've got your worksheet sitting in front of you that we sent to you, so you can use that to kind of see where the weaknesses are, see what you need to work on, see what you need to move forward. And all of these tools will help you move that thing, everything forward that you're trying to create using that morning routine. Okay. So I'm about wrapping this thing up. So do we have any questions? Does anybody have any questions? Are everybody kind of on the same page here? Where does everybody stand? Yeah, anybody have any questions? That would be a no. Okay, then I am all set. I want to thank you all for your time. Really appreciate you hanging out with me. And our hope is that you can use these tools to move your life forward to wherever you want to go. That's the whole thing. That's why we're here. That's why we have the gym, to help you make life improvements. That's why we put these seminars together, is to kind of help you push to the next level. And these will continue. There's a couple more coming out. There's going to be a time management one. There's one about managing your state. So these will be coming out about every 6 to 8 weeks or so. And then those of you that are in the Jumpstart program will have some obviously moving through the Jumpstart program at the studio. So thank you everybody again. And I'll say good night with that.